Hi, my name's Dan, and this video is one in a series of videos that I'm doing about the design of magic systems in video games, which is part of a larger suite of videos that I'm doing on game design topics, which in turn is part of my channel on game development stuff. And in this one, I want to talk about magic-like systems. I want to think about I really want to think about the fact that the way that we deal with magic in games is not necessarily limited to just the magic, the stuff that we would actually use the term magic for. So Arthur C. Clarke famously said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I guess the most obvious candidate for stuff in games that looks like magic but is called something else is technology. There can be other things as well, and we'll explore them coming up, but technology can allow all sorts of things to happen, like the portal gun in Portal. That's a teleport technology, but it could have been equally done. The exact same mechanic could have been done using magic. Body modification and enhancements is kind of similar to giving yourself buffs using magic, or permanently or temporarily, I guess. And have you ever considered how the humble grenade is so similar to a fireball? Things give you the same effect, but in kind of different settings and different genres. Okay, there are lots of other options of things that can look like magic. Basically anything that is a kind of special action, so it looks like a spell that the player chooses to do, has similar mechanics to magic. I'm not saying they all look like magic, so something like a knockback action for a fighter, something you might choose to do in combat, and the mechanic for making that happen and controlling that is very similar to the sort of mechanic you might use for casting a spell. That doesn't mean that you have to call it magic. Other things that could be thought of as kind of on the borders of magic, things like singing to raise morale, dressing to impress, so that's kind of, using your charisma, enhancement surgery, weapon modification, and there's all sorts of stuff available in this area in games. It's great. Psionics, so anything that's mind-affecting, and I guess the boundary between things like the concepts of telekinesis and telepathy and stuff like that is, that kind of, it's on the edge of magic, or the way that we think about magic sometimes. Having kind of gone into this and looking at the thought that the edges of what we think of as magic and what we don't think of as magic are maybe blurrable, I guess the big question is, so what? Why am I even bothering to do this video? What's the point? And we're approaching this from the perspective of game design. So that's why, really, because any advice that you can find on designing magic systems is equally applicable in other areas. And you'll have seen this in my videos if you watched this series of videos. I had a video where I talked about Brandon Sanderson's 3 laws of magic, and talked about the fact that actually they apply in lots of different areas of game design. You can do cross-inspiration. So if you're stuck for ideas, a lot of people are not stuck for ideas, they're just bursting and brimming with them. But sometimes it's good to find ways to inspire ideas. And one way of doing this is to either, if you're designing technology and you want to think about futuristic technology, is to look at magic systems and see what is being achieved through magic systems, through your favorite magic in your favorite game, and think, now, how would I justify that and achieve that through some form of technology? Similarly, the other way around, if you want some ideas for stuff to put into your magic, then You can look at games that have used other things, and again, technology is a prime candidate for this, and say, well, how can I get the same kind of gameplay effects in my magic system that are used in by using weapons in Call of Duty, for example. So, yeah, cross inspiration. You can blend the two, so you don't have to have a magic system where this is magic and something else is completely not magic. You can make the boundary between the two blended either in such a way that you talk about uh, technomancy or technology that uses magic as part of it, or you just remove the kind of the concept that they're separate and you remove the distinction. And there are some good things, good results of that potentially. It gives you the potential for unified gameplay mechanics. So when I talked about the warrior being able to do a knockback, which is clearly not a magical thing, it's a physical thing. But the mechanics that you have for instigating actions like that and the mechanics that you have for instigating spells look so similar that you can basically use the same stuff and it becomes quite understandable to the player. And you might just call them actions. You might have some that, the word spell is involved, but the whole thing is a unified action system. So that can be useful. It can also help balance if you're thinking about these things, kind of thinking about the different effects of different types of classes. If you've got magic users and non-magic users, then understanding where other systems are similar to magic will help you think about how to balance the different classes. So I didn't want to go on for too long. That's some thoughts about what happens when you start to think about the fact that in games, magic isn't necessarily just isolated, and there are similarities and potential blends with other systems. And I feel like I've said everything that I want to say, so I could say a lot more, and I could waffle on, which I am doing right now. So I will stop by saying that's it from me for now.